Hey, you guys. All right, so today is March 31st. I'm starting this reading at the hour of Mercury. Interesting. All right, Mercury's energy today is going to be trining over with the energy of the moon. All right, two fire elements. So the first thing I want to start off with is going over the Sabian symbols. I want to speak a little bit about every transit that's happening right now. Read over the Sabian symbol. Let's look at the information of where those depictions are guiding us here, specifically on the energy, and then we'll move forward with the reading. All right, so let's start off with all transits. Let's start off with Aries energy. So we have the Sun, Mercury, North Node Chiron, all right, Pisces energy, we have Mars, Venus, Saturn, Neptune. All right, Taurus's energy, we have Jupiter, Uranus. All right, and we're also looking at the energy of the moon in Sag right now with Pluto and Aqua. All right, let's look at the degrees here. Sun at 12 degrees. Mercury at 27 degrees. Actually 28 degrees. All right, we have North Node at 16 degrees. Chiron, 19 degrees. All right, Mars in Pisces at 7 degrees. Venus in Pisces at 25 degrees. We have Saturn at 14 degrees. Neptune at 28 degrees. Jupiter, 18 degrees. And Uranus, 21 degrees. Pluto at 2 degrees. I know that for a fact because that one's not moving very fast. And Moon and Sag at 27 degrees. All right, so we'll be having a trine pretty soon again with the energy of the moon and Mercury. All right, within those two fire elements, Sagittarius and Aries energy. I believe it may happen at about close to 28 degrees. Okay, 27 or so degrees to 28 degrees. Okay, let's look at the energy here. Let's start off with the energy in Aries. All right, so the Sun at 12 degrees. Okay. So this specific area with the Sabian symbol speaks about honor. All right. It says here, having studied the projection of disciplined will, we gain mysteries, awareness of the soul's transcendence, and take sincere, if naive, steps forward towards self-perfection. Through the recognition of the sacredness of relationships, we discover the importance and joy of sanctifying life itself. All right, so let's look at 12 degrees. It's a flock of wild geese. All right, this one speaks about expressing the soul's freedom, the existence and supremacy of a spiritual higher role or higher order in life is a matter of faith, awareness of the soul's transcendence. There exists a higher cosmic order which stands above, beneath, and within everything that human society tries to control. It is this that each of us is free, and when all of us express this freedom spontaneously and in good faith, then all is right in the heavens. All right, so it's giving me a shape of, like, you know, when the geese are flying in the sky, they kind of make that V and they're pointing towards where the direction they need to go so that everybody is kind of collectively in order. That's what it's giving me here. All right, so it's speaking about involvements lack meaning unless they lead eventually towards spiritual liberation. No matter what life circumstances arise, no matter what challenges and temptations there are to face, no matter how noble the aspirations we embody, There is one quality that can never be beaten down. We all want freedom. All right. So expressing soul freedom. And it's kind of given me through spirituality. All right. The connection that you have to the heavens kind of energy. Kind of like as above, so below type of energy. All right. So there we have the sun. Let's do Mercury at 28 degrees in Aries. Now, this specific area speaks about proficiency. It says, avoiding overwhelm by development of discrimination. We have faith that we can affirm attainable ideals and avoid disappointment. Speaking with power and truth, we employ devotion and veneration as tools of power and beauty, practicing worldly competence as a spiritual principle. 28 degrees, it speaks about a large disappointed audience. It says, keeping our word, great hopes and excited expectations cannot be sustained. Speaking with power and truth, we need to take other people into account when we make our claims and promises so that we do not later disappoint. If we want to perfect both will and sensitivity, then we need to do everything we can to fulfill our promises. This strongly impacts upon what possibilities of development and achievement will unfold for us. All right, so it speaks about a large audience confronts the performer who disappointed its expectations. So this is like, you're not going to be, how do I say it? The way that you come off with whatever it is that you're speaking of, you're not going to impress everyone, is what it's giving me. All right. And being okay with that. So it says the hardest lesson we eventually have to learn is detachment. It says self-identification rests not in shallow demonstrations of acceptance from others, but surely in our own sense of how we creatively deal with life's challenges and opportunities. The superficial rewards that are offered in life are transient. Only that which is basic, stable, and true will endure. So it's kind of giving me like the way that you communicate has to be something that people understand. All right. And things that people may think to be true, or at least having to prove of that somehow, some way. And Mercury right now is in Aries in its pre-shadow period. It's like hard to communicate things out, hard to get people's attention, hard to share ideas, hard to get even people to pay attention to what you're speaking about. All right. Where Aries energy is so like fully direct and focused on one thing, it's almost like taking a step back almost, and being okay if people aren't approving of what you're speaking about, just kind of moving forward with that energy. Thank you. Okay, so that's Mercury at 28 degrees, North Node at 16 degrees in Aries. Let's see. All right, so this specific area speaks about attainment. This deep mystical awareness of essence can bring on the need for seclusion as a way to deepen self-knowledge. And we learn that by tuning into the natural rhythms, we can train ourselves to release the grasping mind, so to access the mystery of being innocent and fearless in love. This specific one speaks about, what is it? 16 degrees, brownies dancing in the setting sun. It says deep mystical resonance with life, tuning into nature spirits, deep mystical awareness of essence. When the body is weakened by illness, fasting, or sensory deprivation, this allows our subtle body to resonate with nature spirits. By doing so, we become stronger and gain potential, which is important for both recuperation and taking further initiatives to extend our influence. Do we not all feel invigorated by natural elements, the wind, rain, sun, and the stars? So nature spirits are seen at work in the light of the sunset, speaks. Becoming like a little child, living in a holistic, non-rational, intuitive manner is what this whole brownies dancing in the setting sun energy is all about. It's interesting. It's almost like a collective group of, I'm getting females, so the very intuitive energy comes from the energy of the feminine, right? Of the intuition pertaining to the emotional state. I don't know, it's kind of giving me everyone connected and kind of like dancing like this. but down on the ground. So feeling the energy of like Mother Earth energy. I don't know. That's what it's giving. All right, so something that feels deep and mystical, but how they're tuning into the energy of nature. That's how they're like dancing with the energy of spirit is what it's giving me. All right. So this is the deep mystical awareness of essence. All right. That's what we have for North Node energy. So it's almost like right where you belong, feeling that you belong there, tuning into the energies of nature. And then we have Chiron at 19 degrees, which is the magic carpet. I don't know where this came from, but I feel like I have to sneeze. All right, so rising above ordinary perception, relaxing the mind supports a creative, positive, and visionary way of seeing things, training how to release the grasping mind. It's kind of like you overdoing it and being all up in your head. All right, just rising above the perception of the imagination type of energy. It says a way of life refusing hectic involvement in social competition and wasteful overproduction allows for development of unattached, transcendent understanding. When in repose, the creative mind can better survey our present situation, and then stuck routine can be transformed into a new holistic perception. All right. It says mind has an infinite capacity to overview, experience, and use the imagination as a magical process. Interesting. Okay, so there's Chiron. All right, Chiron again is the asteroid of like healing. All right, the wounds that we have to deal with. So how can you overcome in your mind, jumping on that magic carpet and moving forward in your life through the energy of what you imagine you can manifest type of energy. All right, so let's look at the moon in Sagittarius at 27 degrees. Okay, this one speaks about making one's mark. This is the Sabian symbol of a sculptor. It says we have a personal vision of how we would like to see things and how we try to change the circumstances of our life to fit with that vision, giving some physical form to our vision. Okay. We are inevitably part of a group. In fact, there are numerous groups that shape our identity to some extent, and yet we are also uniquely individual and have a irrefutable inner longing to give material form to what otherwise would remain undisclosed, unveiled, and constrained in the realm of personal imagination. Our life is an artwork. Our journey is the creative exploration of what we try to convey of our inner experience of being alive. We are all sculptors of a kind. So this specific area speaks about immortalization. With mastery, when our vision is self-strong, light can shine through stone. Okay. So the moon's energy is always of the what? Intuition, right? Of the emotional state. And it's kind of like you being the sculptor of your own work. All right. And you visualizing what it is that you want to see in reality. Okay. So Pluto in Aquarius at 2 degrees. This specific area speaks about balance. So building survival structures with our group, both physical and institutional, provides a measure of stability, and yet submission to unforeseen and uncontrollable forces is always eventually a predictable requirement. As much as the refusal to comply with inappropriate authority, there are necessary lessons when healing ourselves to distortions of light, leading towards a wise and balanced reconciliation of idealism and pragmatism. All right, so this specific one speaks about an unexpected thunderstorm. I believe I've read this one multiple times. All right. It says here, all life is ephemeral. Even though we want to cement our lives into secure structures, nature always wins in the end. Submission to unforeseen and uncontrollable forces. Nature is a constant existential challenge to the works of people. Fires, floods, and winds tear down our strongest buildings, and moments in time itself erodes everything eventually. By this fact, we are reminded not only how small and insignificant we are and how magnificent is any creation that stands against nature for a while, yet also we remember the need to develop inwardly the strength to cope with it all. So this is like remaining strong during a hard time right now when uncontrollable and unforeseen forces are at hand. All right, and that's Pluto's energy because it comes in and it requires some sort of destruction. Okay. So Mars and Pisces. Let's move over to Pisces energy. All right, we're speaking about Mars and Pisces at 7 degrees. This specific depiction speaks about a cross lying on the rocks. All right, so sticking up for your own principles, it takes a special kind of person to go against the collective will and ethos in order to be true to themselves. Stand firmly according to your principles at whatever cost. As the extreme end of the spectrum of compromise or irritate, many of us may stand firm in our self-determined position of authenticity, and yet if we do, we will undergo some type of crucifixion. Society does not tolerate any extreme rebellious activity, so one is often attacked who refuses self-betrayal through excessive compromise. Nonetheless, and this very process accelerates the rebel's personal evolution. All right, so the specific depiction is illumined by a shaft of light. A large cross lies on the rock surrounded by sea mist. All right, so the energy of like sea salt could be very purifying as well. And you trying to illuminate that out to others may not be accepted, so just be careful with this energy, but also stand firmly, all right, according to your principles at whatever cost. That's the message with Mars and Pisces. Okay. All right, this one speaks about conscience. It says conscience reveals the intuitive aspect of faith. All right, we're going to move on to Venus at 25 degrees of Pisces. The purging of the priesthood. It says rooting out corruption. However sincere an initial impulse was, there will always be corrupting influences. Sometimes it's best to restart and refresh. Rid yourself of negative thoughts. It says a multitude of minor and major ego adjustments add up to a life of interactions with family and associates. Yet these processes are not fully sufficient to deal with core issues of our shadow nature. To take us to another level of awareness wherein we can see ourselves for what we are and let go of the deepest imperfection of being, we need to experience purification. Very often, this is by fire. In other words, catharsis. We live in a very dark and terrible age, and we have to release ourselves from the expectation that darkness will engulf us. There is hope for the courageous, determined, passionate aspirant. With these qualities, we can be free of the corruption that has blinded us from the soul's consciousness. All right, so this speaks about a religious organization succeeds in overcoming the corrupting influence of perverted practices and materialized ideals. Interesting, because Venus in Pisces is comfortable there. It's aware there, right? So it's bringing in the energy of love instead of focusing in on the corruption, where more so Mars may be bringing in that energy. Venus is coming in to express the energy of love, all right, rooting out the corruption. All right, so this one speaks about reformation. It says we project our disappointments in the matter, we trust our priests. All right, so if you're doing some sort of spiritual work here, you might want to be sure that you're practicing the energy of love. All right, Saturn at 14 degrees of Pisces. A lady in fox fur. It says using glamour as a shield. The real purpose is not revealed by their glamour, but the real person is. Protect yourself from unwanted intrusive energies. Glamour is employed by an initiate as a subtle protective disguise. It is far better to avoid conflict using strategy and device than to attract or precipitate. I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading this backwards. There we go. Mercury in retrograde. All right. It is far better to avoid conflict using strategy and device than to attract or precipitate. Precipitate. All right. The collision of wills. The range of glamour is much more than pretty clothes and a pretty face. It says sexual allure and physical beauty, but includes also the spells of knowledge, sharp intellect, athleticism, and also more self-deprecating attitudes like victimhood, false humility, and humble, self-righteous service. Anything that tells a story and disguises the full facts in a glamour, and though useful, is a little risky to exercise since it so very often carries the burden of self-deception. All right. I want to try this one more time because I want to be sure that I'm getting the point across here. All right. Using glamour as a shield. The real purpose is not revealed by their glamour, but the real person is. Protect yourself from unwanted intrusive energies. Glamour is employed. My goodness, I cannot. Here we are at the hour of Mercury, okay? Just work with me here. Glamour is employed by an initiate as a subtle protective disguise. It is far better to avoid conflict using strategy and device than to attract or precipitate. I'm about to give up. Don't give up, Jazz. Don't give up. Don't give up. It is far better to avoid conflict using strategy and device than to attract or precipitate the collision of wills. The range of glamours is much more than pretty clothes and face paint, sexual allure, and physical beauty, but includes also the spells of knowledge, sharp intellect, athleticism, and also more self-deprecating attitudes like victimhood, false humility, and humble, self-righteous service. Anything that tells a story and disguises the full facts is a glamour, and though useful, is a little risky to exercise since it is so very often carries the burden of self-deception. So this is a lady wrapped in a large stone of fox fur. This energy is speaking about the tastefulness of things, all right? So style shapes personal outcomes by articulating our membership of a distinct circle of influence around you. Okay? It says integrity is deepened as we learned never to surrender our willingness to demonstrate the authentic uniqueness of who we are, what we feel, and what we hold to be true. Okay? Don't let people paint your picture of who the hell you are. All right? Saturn and Pisces energy. All right, let's look at Neptune at 28 degrees. A fertile garden under the full moon. I've read this one multiple times. Enough is a feast. Success is mastering the earth plane, measured by our ability to win abundance without becoming slave to greed. It's meant to fulfill your desire. All right, so Sufism teaches of 7 planes of existence, each with its special mystery, and the mystery of the earth plane is abundance. The self-denial within asceticism may well be an important stage by which we learn to let go of need, but a more advanced level of development is typified by having no embarrassment about desire and fulfillment. It takes mastery to cope with both sides of the challenge of physical life. The first test is to determine where or whether we can create plenty. The next is to learn that the feeling of abundance is not supported by greed. Enough is a feast. So just be grateful for what it is that you have at this time. All right, Neptune and Pisces at 28 degrees. Jupiter and Taurus at 18 degrees. Let's look at it. Jupiter and Taurus at 18 degrees. A woman holding a bag out of a window. All right, it says emptying the mind, distortions of thought, belief, and habit purified through meditation and open-mindedness. Emptying the mind. A mind that is conditioned to make judgments about right and wrong creates a prideful ego that limits the soul's evolution. It must become open and then cleansed of bigotry and prejudice. This one speaks about facilitation. Neither visionary intention nor mundane effectiveness should be seen as more spiritual than the other. If we are dissatisfied with the way things are, we can set about bringing about change. This image, a woman of a bag or women and a bag, is very commonplace, rather like shopping, and shows someone in the process of fulfilling her needs. Many things in her life are straightforward enough, yet we must not mishandle them if we are to deal properly with matters at hand. If there is no food in the larder, we need to go shopping rather than just hang out a bag out of the window. All right, so don't expect others to do something for you is kind of what it's giving me. Okay. Emptying the mind, distortions of the thought, belief, and the habit purified through meditation and open-mindedness. This is about you emptying your mind and getting rid of the bad shit. All right. Jupiter and Taurus at 18 degrees. Uranus at 21 degrees. All right, here we're stepping into the energy of authority. Careful discrimination of wisdom. A balance must be found between receiving guidance and self-determination of wisdom, balancing guidance with self-determination. Seeking guidance, it is sometimes helpful to use the oracle or oracular. Sorry, I don't know where I got oracle from. Seeking guidance is sometimes helpful to use the oracular function of sacred text by opening such a book at random, for example, and intuitively discovering personal meaning in a line. Yet taken too far, this can create an overdependence and diminished self-reliance, so that personal will and freedom of choice are inappropriately sacrificed. All right, this one speaks about confirmation. We need values and goals in order to determine truth from fancy. All right, so that's Uranus at 21 degrees. I believe we went through every single one. All right. I don't know if you guys are noticing the energy from feeling a heavy spiritual energy to what we feel with the energy of like the emotional state to corruption to having to feel like the unexpected changes that are coming. All right. With Pisces energy as well, it's kind of giving me where you have to know that enough is enough. All right. That you have enough for everything that, you know, we've been dealing with here. I don't know, it's kind of giving me like not putting a mask on what you're trying to put out there. Also learning how to protect yourself as well from the energies that you don't want out there, especially if you're working with spiritual, you know, work here and why you're doing this. All right. That's what it's giving. All right, let's do wisdom of the oracle. I don't know, I'm kind of getting like have influential people around you, those that support you, all right? And you will definitely have to deal with people that are not going to accept the message that you have to come across, so they may not want to pay attention. They may want to just walk away from the energy, feeling that, you know, it's your belief system, not theirs. I don't know, but I'm seeing the energy of the fates here. All right, it says accepting that there are things you cannot change and knowing what those things are. All right, so also having to deal with like karma. All right. Building blocks, strong foundations. All right, so this is you having a beautiful work in progress within yourself. Okay. Poised. This card speaks about being at your best. All right, this is you bringing something to light. Your skills are sharp here. You have the confidence, the knowledge, and this speaks about you being ready to be able to step out there and do what it is that you need to do. I'm seeing stars on this card here, as well as stars on this card here. All right. It's interesting. Notice like the wings as well on those. Deep intuition. All right, or the deep knowing card with intuition, higher consciousness, hypersensitivity, the energy of empathy here. This is you being able to have the ability to read between the lines. All right, listening to the oracle from within, it says. And soulmates, harmonious partnerships, love, friendship, companionship, the evolving and transforming energies. And this is you having a relationship fostering personal growth as well. All right, down at the bottom of the deck, there's mending. So this is you releasing resentments from the past, opening yourself up to forgiveness, unwanted burdens, and healing after arguments. All right. I don't know, I'm seeing heavy on the fairy energy here. I see the fairy wings on this card here with the fates. I'm seeing poised with fairy energy as well as this one. All right, so I have the number 17, 28, 48, 43, 41, and 52 out here. All right, these numbers could be significant for you. Okay, let's look at tarot here. I'm getting like you kind of have an idea of what's to come in the near future and what's fated. Okay, and you're accepting the things that you know you cannot change. All right, at least from the past. And being able to build your foundation by working on yourself, all right, and being your best, at least working within the energy of your intuition, all right, and then the partnership that you also have with spirit as you evolve and transform. Yeah, here's the 6 of Pentacles. So this is the energy of like reciprocity. What you put out there is kind of what you get back energy. All right. That's interesting because I have the 9 of Wands at the bottom of the deck. That's the moon in Sagittarius. We just spoke about that energy at, what was it, 27 degrees? All right. Yeah. Again, it spoke about the sculptor. All right. This is about you making your mark. All feel you're very confident. You have the knowledge, all right? You know exactly what it is that you're speaking about here. This is you really being at your best and showing people that you have this sort of strong foundation. Seven of Swords. That kind of gives me the energy of needing to protect yourself from those that are being deceptive around you. All right. And the strategy that you have in order to be able to move forward as well. By releasing negative thoughts from your mind state. Yeah, Ten of Swords. You're done with the betrayal from the past. All right, Eight of Pentacles. You're working really hard on yourself. All right, again, it's speaking about you being at your best. All right, interesting that I said the two fairy cards that came out, and those are Pentacles. So here I have 6, here I have 8, 14 Pentacles. Wow. All right, 4 of Wands. All right, this energy is like celebration. Okay. Let's see here. Page of Swords. You're very knowledgeable. Very knowledgeable. You're very intuitive. You're very tuned into the energy of communication from spirit. All right. Yeah, 6 of Wands energy. You could be publicly known for something. Okay. I'm getting you're very studious as well. All right, because in order to master something, 8 of Pentacles energy, where you're working hard, it's because you actually enjoy gaining knowledge about whatever specific skill this is. All right. Yeah, High Priestess. It has to do a lot with, I'm telling you, and it fell out right over top of intuition and soulmates. What's on the bottom of the deck there? 6 of Swords. It's part of your transition. And again, we spoke about the soulmate card staying, evolving, and transformation, right? Transforming. The 6 of Swords speaks about your transition. Okay. When it has to do with some sort of partnership. And this could even be within self, like your inner journey of healing. All right. And there's the transformation card there. All right. So I'm seeing Virgo, Pisces energy out here. Taurus, Aquarius. Heavy on the Aquarius energy here as well. So we spoke about Aquarius Sabian symbol being about the unexpected thunderstorm, right? Yeah. Even though we want to cement our lives in secure structures, nature always wins in the end. Submission to unforeseen and uncontrollable forces is what that one spoke about. That's interesting. It says nature is a constant existential challenge to the works of people, fires, and floods and winds, trying to tear down our strongest buildings in moments, and time itself erodes everything eventually. It's kind of building like your foundation here. You have a strong foundation, which meaning that you're a beautiful work in progress. All right, nobody can break you down because you're a hard worker. You know what it is to be able to tune into the energy of love. All right, to tune into the energy of the partnership that you have with spirit, and to listen to your intuition here. There it is again, 6 of Wands energy. I feel like nobody can break you down. The Fool card. You're on a new journey here. 3 of Cups. This is giving me like your kindred spirits. All right. There was some sort of mending that you did from the past. Wow. It looks like you have power behind you. You got tired of going round and round with things as well. You chose to really meditate and contemplate on the energies, which actually opened you up to receiving some sort of unexpected gift. All right. Exchanging gifts says here, opportunities that are being offered to you now. All right, because of the energy of giving and receiving. That's the very first energy that came out. All right, so this can be like currency gifts and trade-offs that are coming in because of the way that you weighed your cost and determined your values. And your values had a lot to do with your spirituality is what I'm getting. Happy with joy and contentment, whatever was bringing in the energy of happiness for you. You know that everything's going to be okay. All right, you have some sort of sense of fulfillment here. All right. Let's get a crystal out here on this reading. I've been trying to go over this reading all day. I finally got it done in the way that I wanted to. Although Mercury in this pre-shadow period. All right, I don't know. I don't read like that, but it was getting to me. And in order to understand the energies, I want you guys to understand it with me. So I have no problem rereading that. All right. Let's see the energy. What does Spirit want us to focus on here? Do any of you guys have Aquarius in your third house? Specifically with the energy of the moon? Interesting. Aquarius in the third house. I just heard rising Sag. That's what it is. I'm a rising Sag, and I had to think about it. I'm like, hey, that's like part of my, how do you call it? My chart. I have Aquarius in the third. Because I have a moon in Aries. All right. It's interesting. You guys want to know something funny? In my Placidus, I have no Pisces, no Virgo energy. At all. At all. And in my natal chart, I am heavy on Capricorn energy. So when I think of sun, moon, rising, moon energy, especially here with Aquarius in the third, this is like my chart here. That's so funny. All right. So I don't know, it's giving me like the two air elements with Gemini ruling the third house, Aquarius' energy being here, and the energy of the moon. It's almost like a telepathic connection that you have. All right. It's kind of giving me with like divine, at least the feminine energy. All right, let's get a crystal spirit out here. That was lithium quartz. I read that earlier today, or in the reading yesterday, I believe it was. I don't know if you guys can hear the birds out the window, but they're pretty loud. Okay. Numite, achieving self-mastery, inner power, and recovering your sense of self. Yeah. Number 38 could be significant for you. Down at the bottom of the deck, witnessing the observer, an ability to detach impersonal quality of the universe with pedalite. Okay. Let's see, 38. Let's do the relationship message here. It says, when it comes to your relationship with others, building trust and intimacy is a process. Practice leads to results. For repetition, develop skills. Just as you engage in a dance with a partner, leading and following, stay present in the moment, listening to the signals and cues that are being clear about what you need and desire. Yes, toes will be stepped on here and there, but it's how you and your partner deal with the inevitable missteps that allows you to develop a closeness that can stand up to even the biggest challenges. Practice, 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 and soon it will be second nature to express yourself in relationships in ways that reflect your highest aspirations for how you want to show up for others and what you want to experience. Cultivate love through practicing being loving. All right, so the energy of reciprocity is definitely in the reading. All right, Numite feels sacred, carrying the vibration of the wise elder or teacher. When we are ready, this stone will assist us in diving down into the very depths of ourself in order to unearth and reclaim the lost or buried parts of us. It encourages us to embrace and integrate the neglected pieces of who we are, step into our power, and once again know ourselves as the perfect beings we have always been. All right, so that's the meditation for today, is Numite Spirit. All right, and focusing in on your inner power, achieving your self-mastery, and recovering your sense of self. All right, I love you guys. Happy Easter, and I'll see you soon.